Hey there, I'm going through my books to figure out which books I'm going to send off to CGC, and I do have a few that I need to press and clean up before I send them. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I take one of those books and put them through my pressing technique. You could see some of my mistakes, learn from me, and let's see the results and see how it turned out. Let's go. All right, so before we go through the press and cleanup of this book, I just wanted to walk you through some of the trouble spots on this book. So we see here on the bottom left corner, there's a little bit of a dent and a couple of minor hairline spine ticks there. I don't see anything color breaking. Further down the bottom edge, I'm going to get this in the light here, right there under the red Hawkeye, there's just a little bit of a lifting of the page there. Not too bad. I should be able to clean that up. Spine looks generally pretty good. I do see some issues on the side up here in the top left. There's 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 different spine ticks or just wear on the covers, lines of some sort. And then right there around the eye in Generations, there's a little bit of a dent and welling there. But otherwise looks pretty good. Top edge looks fine. Nothing really else on the front cover. Flip it over and look at the back here. That corner looks pretty good. Has a little bit of a lifting issue. I'll see if I can get that out. Yeah, cover looks pretty clean. Back spine looks okay. Corner looks all right there. Yeah, some issue right there above Hook's shoulder. I just noticed there's a couple of ticks there. We'll have to deal with that. Again, that bottom corner, that's that same corner from the front, just kind of wrapping around. All right, here we go. So we've taken a look at some of the defects of this book. I had pre-screened this Generations Hawkeye #1 second print, a Matina cover, and I've tried the best I could to light up this book, but unfortunately with Matina, his covers are usually pretty dark like this, but hopefully you can see at least the Kate Bishop imagery popping here. What I want to do is basically cut the book in half and work on this half of the book here, specifically down this spine in this corner, and then down here, there's an issue right there that I pointed out, and see if I can go ahead and clean up this portion, and then turn the book over and get the back corner that had the problem, and then before that, there's this little well that's happening right here that is not color breaking that I want to smooth out as well. So I have my tack iron here that has been warming up, so it's warmed up and ready to go. And again, timing is everything that I have found, so you have to have the proper timing with your humidity, your pressing, and so on. So what I want to do is the pure steam always heats up faster than I think, so that's going to be the last step. So before I get everything going, what I do is I go ahead and sandwich the book the way that I would normally do it for a quick press. Now this has the digital sticker, so I have to remember to go back and include a couple of additional pieces of cardstock in order to not get the digital sticker to press through. But essentially what I want to do here is pretend as if, and there's that digital sticker, pretend as if I'm going to press it as is, and I just have to find the centerfold, there it is. So I want to press it as is and just sort of get it set up by putting the magazine backer in the center, and then I'm just working on the front cover. So I'm going to take my piece of cardstock and also insert that here under the front, like so. And then lastly, get my piece of SRP, and this one's used, but I'm going to reuse it here and lay that on here before I start working on these trouble spots, pretty much in this quadrant of the book, this lower quarter near the spine. So before I do that, I'll put the SRP aside, and I'll go ahead and turn on the pure steam. And I'm just going to move the book out of the way while that warms up in case any liquid or condensation starts to spill out. But yeah, this is sort of the corner area that I want to work on, right down in here. And I can see the steam coming out. So let's go ahead and start to move the book back and forth. Getting that in there. Ooh, it's really hot, even close. Okay, so just trying to get it right on the book itself. I'm gonna turn it one last time this way. Oh, it's a lot of steam. Okay, it's definitely curling up here. And then now that I've got that part, just want to get the bottom here. All right, I think that is plenty. So you can see that paper curling really taking effect here. Oh, and lastly, turn this around this way to work on this side, like so. And I'll lay down the SRP and start to work on the book. Let me slide it this way. Now I'm sliding the book around a lot, so things are coming loose. Let me move it here so I can actually see what I'm doing. I swear, even the steam itself, it starts to lift those defects right out. So all I'm really doing is just giving this book a nice massage here. So right down in this corner was the kind of the problem, and I'm just running this up and down the spine just to kind of let anything out here. Just relaxing the book. I feel like I need to talk to the book. We're just relaxing. It's gonna be okay. So it was kind of an issue right here along the spine, right in there. And you have to just trust the materials, the cardstock, the magazine cover, and the natural curvature of the book, the paper, to all just sort of work out so you can put a little bit of pressure on it and not have to be too worried about the book moving in a circular motion. I've seen some people kind of do a figure eight. So there was that issue, right, I believe, right under the Hawkeye right in here. There was a little bit of a fold. You can just put a little extra pressure right there. Yeah, I think that's gone. That curling I don't have to worry about on the other corner. That's going to come out. I'm just kind of going up and down and around. I want to say that was it for the front. Yeah, I think I still see this may need a bit more humidity right here. I'm still seeing a little bit of creasing right there. The corner and the edge looks much better now. I definitely feel like this is very crisp. Yeah, so I think what I want to do, I want to give that spot a bit more humidity, and then I may go ahead and work on up here as well. These spots right here, that's going to be interesting because that looks like some sort of paper fiber curling or rolling or squishing. I see there's 4 lines right in here, whereas the rest of the book just doesn't have that issue. It's almost like the paper ran out of space or something and just sort of collapsed, crunched together, and I want to see if I can get that out. So that'll be the next area that I work on with the humidity. So I'm going to go ahead and power up the steamer again. And then, yeah, that other spot is right in here on the eye in generations. That's where that little well exists. So now I'm going to start working on this and then touch up that one last time. Okay, so that's there. And then let's start this. Okay. That should be enough. Put this down. So I'm putting extra pressure down in here. This one I may just have to rely on the heat press itself. I may not be able to get just the right pressure. This may just come out there. So I'm going to go back and work on this top half, specifically right around here. So I know that around the eye this has a problem, so I'm going to just put some pressure flat here and then near the eye here on the spine, and try not to slip up like I just did and cause other problems, but just give it a nice massage going in that circular motion. Go ahead and give it that figure 8 if need be. And I think that well, or whatever it was, is certainly gone. So I'm going to shift up here to where those lines, again, not scratches, it's just the fibers of the paper, like I said, just kind of almost like seized up and created these lines in the corner. They're all gone already, so I don't need to spend too much more time on this. And that's the beautiful thing, is that the steam just lets the fibers open up and kind of break apart and relax and spread out. Really on its own, you really get that immediate effect with that. So I'm just kind of going around the book while I'm here very lightly. I'm not really pressing down. I'm just almost barely holding the tack iron and just kind of giving it a once over, making sure that the humidity didn't start wrinkling or affecting the book in any way. So that's pretty good. I can still almost feel, as I put my finger over on the SRP, I don't feel that well anymore. It was right there. There's just a little bit of a history or remnant there of the welling. It's still occurring. Again, the pressing in the clamshell may help that. I'm going to go up and down the spine one more time, but I think we're good. I think we're good there. Just going to look at it one more time. Make sure we got everything on the front. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm still seeing one slight there, right by the Marvel logo. It's very subtle. So I'll put this on one more time. Give it a little bit more. Just kind of hold it in place and then kind of just push it back and forth right in there. I think it's gone now. Looks like it's gone. I don't see it from this angle, so I'm going to pick it up one last time. Kind of shift it back and forth in the light. Yeah, it's still there. It may just be permanently in the book. I'm actually noticing one right here where it says the Archers right in there. Let me work on that a little bit here before we call it. It's funny, I can't see it from this angle, but I can see it from the other when I turn it back right side up. I think that's about all I can do. So I think at this point I want to work on the back, see what I can do to finish this up, and then give it one last humidity treatment and then put it in the press. So the back doesn't have too many problems. Let me see. I think I noted right in here. There's definitely something right on that side. Anything else on the back? And in the corner there. So pretty much need to give steam to the top half. So let me turn this back on. Pure Steam's getting a workout today. Here we go. corner. And I won't do too much here. I don't want to overdo it because it's going to get one more steam bath, if you will, or treatment before it goes into the press. So let's do this. Turn it this way. And it was right above Hulk's shoulder, right in here. And then just going up and down the spine there. I almost feel it. Again, it's almost like if you're giving somebody a massage where they're saying, I've got this knot in my back or my lower neck area or something, or side of the neck or something. I've just got this knot, this pain. And you start to kind of massage it. It doesn't have to be somebody else. It could be your own neck, right? I mean, you don't have to put your hands on anybody. But you feel that bump or that weird sensation. You can kind of feel it on the book as well. Like I feel it right in here, like ugh. And it's right up in this area. It just doesn't feel as smooth, at least at first. It does now. Feels like I'm able to kind of press and push the welling and the denting away very slowly. And it's hard to describe. It really is kind of an art form and not so much a science. I mean, we're putting a lot of science in this, but there's also an art to figure out just how much pressure to put down, when to ease up, what motion to kind of go in. And it depends on how, it's a very tactile situation where you just sort of feel the welling and you feel the denting, and then you also just kind of feel where you kind of want to press and push and smooth out the book. So that looks pretty good to me. I do want to work on this corner up here. That had a slight problem. Just give it a quick little jab over here. Hold it down a little bit too. Just sort of smoothing and pushing out that corner. That corner really wasn't too bad up in here, but I did notice it when I was looking it over, like, it's got a little bit of just a slight fold. So honestly, just probably holding it down like that would do the trick. So I think we're good on this one. It's about all I can do. Like I said in my original video, I have 2 copies of this book, and I was going to basically decide which one to send in based on which one turned out better in the press. So lastly, I'm going to give it one more treatment of steam and then get it ready for pressing. Okay, so I'm ready to put the book in the press, but before I do, I need to get it ready for the press itself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 pieces. For right now, I'm just going to use the 65 pound. There's an issue I'm having where a lot of times my books, the left spine comes out with this very rigid line that I think does relax once it's out of the press, but it kind of makes me a little bit paranoid as far as like, let's look at the spine right here. The spine, it doesn't have that line, obviously. So I want to see if using only 65 and not 100 in certain spots does the trick. Now, we need to find the digital stamp, just right there, and put a piece of cardstock on the previous page. And the one with the stamp, the sticker. I want to call it Marvel Value Stamp, but it's not. It's just a sticker. And then right here on the last page. And I'm not really shoving the paper in there. I already put the magazine backing board in the middle. And then just kind of let gravity do its thing by holding it just so. Yeah, and that should do it. That should protect it. But to me, this sandwich is too thick, right? So I feel like that's what's creating that line that's going all the way down when it's pressed. So in this case, I was using 100-pound cardstock where the Marvel digital sticker was, I believe. And sometimes 2 backing boards in the middle, so it was really kind of overpowering the book in terms of thickness. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the press a little bit to not make it as tight, because maybe the book is getting too squished in that regard. So what I want to do is I want to preheat the press, do one last humidity treatment so that when the press is warmed up, I can get that humidity on the book and then get it right into the press itself. So let me get the press warmed up. All right, so while the press is heating up, just want to confirm my sandwich. You could see the paper curling here that's taking place. So there's a lot of good humidity on this book, and it is ready to go. So as soon as that press warms up, we'll go ahead and get the SRP paper and the magazine boards here. So I'll get that. One there. One there. And 2 fresh sheets of SRP. All right. So that press is ready to go. Go ahead and lift it up. And remember, I've already loosened it, so we're not going to have, hopefully, those issues with that line going up and down the spine there. So fresh sheet of SRP on top of a magazine board, glossy side up. What you want to do too is try and guess what the most troubled area is. So for me, it was down here in the lower half of the front of this book. So I'm going to lay that down here in the clamshell like so. And with my press, it's not going to matter. I don't have to flip the book because I use a steel plate on top and bottom. SRP again here, glossy side down on the magazine board. And then take my steel plate, place it on the top. And this should be a much gentler push down where I can almost just let this go with hardly any pressure at all. And there it is, it's set. So this will count down for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to leave it in the press. This one, I'm going to do sort of my own quick version. I'm actually going to take this out of the press in 4 hours instead of letting it sit overnight to see if I need to work on that other second print and see how this one turned out. So I will see you here in a second. And welcome back. That was a quick second. What we're going to do is go ahead and open up the press and see how the book turned out. This was left here in the cold press for almost exactly 4 hours. I think when I was doing those free comic book days, when I was practicing on those, I would wait 4 hours. But if it was any book in particular that I wanted to really press out and either send off for grading or keep in the personal collection, I was letting it sit overnight. So I'm curious to see if that overnight stay, if you will, in the press really made a difference or not. And again, I had loosened this as well. So those were a couple of the changes I've made, little alterations just to see. So here we go. Open the press. Take off the top plate. And SRP and magazine. All right. See how we did. So before I take off any of the magazine boards, so this is kind of what I'm talking about, this edge right here that occurs, and you can see how my boards and paper, they're not exactly lined up, and it does depend, right? These are closer to the spine than the ones in the middle. I get that, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to avoid this other than getting even smaller or lesser cardstock paper. Well, let's turn it over just to see. It doesn't look as prominent, although it's hard to tell with the paper. But let me go ahead and take it out of the sandwich, so kind of look at it all together. Try not to pull too tightly, just gently. And get a little bit of that crunchy goodness. That's always a fun sound when you take the book out of the press. So yeah, it's subtle, but I think you can see what I'm talking about right there, up and down the book. It's not an angle with the light. It's that thing is on the book now. And I don't know exactly how to prevent that. I'm going through and just checking the middle. Like, it seems well protected. Like, there's no staple push through the pages that I can see. Everything looks really nice and clean. Checking out the stamp page, there's no, this is really flat. There's no stamp being pressed through the pages. Same thing on the other side. So I don't know what to do. Here it is on the back. Maybe you can see here in the light what I'm talking about. Just up and down here. I don't know how to get rid of that. But it also seems to relax. Like, am I overthinking it? Am I overlooking it? Is it really a problem? I don't know, but it seems like I've now created this new crease that's going about, 1/5 of an inch from the center of the spine into the front and back cover because of the paper. So this cardstock, basically not being just being lined up like so inside is what's creating it. And so this is what I'm trying to figure out. So first things first, let me ignore that for a second and look to see if the rest of the book is fine. I would definitely say up here in this area is much improved. In fact, those 4, 5, or 6 lines that were up there, those are gone. Those are completely gone. So that's great. I'm glad I have that figured out. The well that was in that eye is also gone, completely gone. There's nothing there. That's completely flat now. So that's great. I don't see, as I move it back and forth in the light to get that reflection, it is perfectly smooth and flat. Down here, again, some of this is just natural to the paper itself. There are some lines right in there, but I don't think there's no harm in that. I'm being super critical. Down here, I'm still seeing just a little bit right in there. Again, looking almost like just a hairline or like a piece of hair was laying on the book. It's much, much better, but it's okay. I think that's acceptable. I don't think a grader is going to knock me down to a 9.4 or anything because of that. I think it's just sort of on the paper. I want to compare this to the other one too, because I'm seeing a lot of spotting on the front, and I wonder is this from the humidity? Is this from, it almost looks dirty. And I don't know now, I'd have to look at the other one to compare, but it's like there are spots all over the cover. And it was like, did the heat do that to the book or what? So I'm going to compare that as well. The back above Hulk looks fine, just above his shoulder. That looks all smooth. Up here, the corner looks okay, but there's also a mark here. And I wonder if that's where, when I laid the tack iron on it, you see that? Did it create that? It looks like that's exactly the size of the tack iron. And what I did is I laid it on the corner, and I bet that burned the book. So I'm glad I did this one and not one of the other Hawkeye books. And I had 2, and that's why I did it, because I wanted to see. So there were certain things I did right, certain things I did wrong. I'm still, again, the spine issue is one. This with the tack iron, I'll probably have to lower the heat on the tack iron and not leave it set against the book like that. And then this spotting here. So let me grab the other one real quick and see what that one looks like. All right, so this is the other copy I have. Move this aside. And I had both at a 9.2 candidates for pressing. So if this one is clean of all of those spots, then I've really jacked that book up. Let's see here. No, this one has it too. Yeah, it's just the paper. I'm trying to do like a truce, and then now I don't want to get confused here. I don't know. It's like the, I don't know if you can see it, but it almost feels dirty, like it was just slightly charred or something, especially up here. You see that? As it goes through between the purple and the black generations. Hopefully you caught that. It's almost just like it was just charred or something. So this one, I don't know. Like, am I seeing things? I don't know if I see it on this one as much. I'm trying to put them side by side here. But I think it's on the book. I honestly do. I think it's charred. So I'm wondering if the heat is too high. Now I think right there, hopefully you can see that in the, trying to get both side by side in the light. See, the top one is the one I pressed. The bottom one is not. So the top one has all kinds of spots on it. The bottom one doesn't. And I honestly didn't really see that before to know if that was me, but it has to be. It's almost like it took some of the gloss off of it or something. I'm not exactly sure. So I have to be careful with that. So this one I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what to do about that one. I don't know if I want to press the other one or go back to a practice book, but man, not really happy or pleased with how that turned out. So if you have any tips or suggestions for me, let me know. I'm going to go back through my notes and see. I have my quick press note as 165 degrees for 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes, and that's what I did this book for in the press, but man, it looks awful. But again, I don't remember enough if the book looked like this. I think I would have noticed taking it out of the bag and board, and since I got both of these in the same place, and I don't really see this on this book, I feel like I did it. This was the clean one I haven't pressed yet, and this one is the one that I did. So I know I did that. So I actually made this book worse. So that was my fault. And then, like I said, that's my fault. But the cover and the back cover, I'm not exactly sure. I might have charred this one. Hard to say. Maybe I'll send it to CBCS. So there you go. That was my... it's not a pressing tutorial, that's for sure. It was a process. I tried it. I'm not happy with the results. I got to get better at this and figure out how to make some adjustments to figure out how I'm not going to char the front and back cover like that or ruin it. I'm hesitant to try the other one to see if it turns out the same, because now I need a test case to see if it was me. But there's certainly something going on with the spine, although then it does feel like it's relaxing a little bit. But anyway, I'll stop rambling. We'll end it here. But please leave me some comments or notes just to let me know what you think about what I'm doing here. And I'd appreciate the feedback. Thank you for checking this out. I appreciate it. Happy collecting, and see you next time.